Thanks, Dave. And Dave will rave more with Molly tonight on Countdown from Hollywood, California. The California kid, Dave the Rave, joining Molly here on Countdown.
Thanks, Gavin. Well, with me I have the man himself, David. Welcome yet again to Countdown.
Howdy, howdy. Welcome to Countdown indeed. Hello, Australia. Diamond David Lee Roth at your service.
Now, listen, a lot has happened over the last 8 months since I saw you way up somewhere in New York or past New York. The solo album has been an amazing success.
Life goes on without us, huh? Shoom. Man, who would have predicted, you know, that whole EP, my whole record came out of, it was like a souvenir from a long weekend, you know. It was only 4 days, so you only get 4 songs, you know.
Yeah,
who would have thought?
I kept thinking of it as an album.
Who would have thought it would go this far, right?
Now listen, number one, why did you do it? And did you expect it to be a success?
Well, originally when I started thinking of doing, you know, a solo project, I talked to my manager, and he said, "Go ahead, don't be humble, Dave. You're not that great." So I went on and I got the Ace team together. You know, we had Edgar Winter in there and Eddie Martinez, who plays on a variety of albums. It was studio musicians. And it took actually about a month to put it together, but it was only about 4 days from beginning to end to record the whole project. And we just had the idea at the beach in Mexico. Heard the song pop on the stereo. I've been carrying it around, you know, in the suitcase for years. I said, that's it, something to do now.
Well, now listen, I mean, like, from California Girls, which we'll get onto in a minute, and then Just a Gigolo, I mean, the choice of songs was, well, when I first thought he's doing these songs, but, I mean, worked wonderfully.
Well, you want to make a left turn.
Right.
You know, you want to do something a little bit unpredictable. The worst thing you can be in showbiz is boring, you know.
Well, talking about the unpredictable, I don't know if you know her very well, Cyndi Lauper, but she's pretty unpredictable, and we've got her coming up now on the show, and it's called The Goonies Are Gonna Get You.
And now let's get it on with Molly and David Lee Roth.
Okay, now listen, going back to you as a performer, and the energy you always seem to have as a performer, I mean, do you work out, or is it just something that you do?
I don't know. I have a parrot at home named Evita, and Evita won't say a word to you until you put the stereo on. The louder you put on the stereo, the more she gets excited, the more she makes noise. And people are always amazed by this. Why does this trigger Evita? It's the same thing when you drive out on the highway. If you go down on Sunset Boulevard and somebody pops good on the radio, everybody starts going. Some people start doing like this. Some people start to use their head. You know, this is why they don't let me drive anymore. You know, and on and on. That's what makes it move. That's what makes the movement. That and the audience. You know, some people say, well, I wait for the audience to deliver the spark, and then I recycle it to them. That's where I come in. I carry a flamethrower.
Well, I noticed, I mean, from the first time I met you, going back to last year, where you'd done a French interview prior to me arriving at the hotel, and it had been going on for a long time, and you still then had the spark of coming into yet my interview, and then you had to go and do another one. Do you ever tire of it all?
I like talking. I'm not sure I have a lot to say, but it's a question of how much do you like the people? How much do you like being on? You know, and rock and roll is much better than music, because it's so much more. It's a constant thing. It's a 24-hour-a-day attitude more than anything.
All right, well, listen, we'll move along with the show at the moment. Power Station, combination of Robert Palmer and Duran Duran and some great session musicians. And they've done, in fact, a cover version as well. It's called Get It On, Bang a Gong, the old T-Rex number. Were you ever into T-Rex from the British side?
No, but Some Like It Hot was the first Marilyn Monroe movie that I remember seeing.
All right, let's get it on with Bang a Gong.
Now let's rejoin the gigolo, David Lee Roth with Molly.
All right, the big question down at home is when is Van Halen going to tour? Now, I saw you at Madison, and it was, I mean, a monstrous show, huge. I mean, the lighting alone. And I thought, well, how can they possibly bring this down or tour with it for the rest of the world? I mean, what is happening with Van Halen and yourself and touring?
Well, the current plans now, I'm making a movie. It's time to be a major movie mogul.
I knew it was going to happen.
And this is something that I'm going to direct. We've written it. It's being casted right now. This is a major flick, and hopefully Van Halen will do the soundtrack for it. Once that whole ball of wax is completed within the next 7 to 10 months, then I would expect we would do a full blast international tour and go around the world.
So, I mean, can you tell us more about the movie?
Well, if you enjoyed the videos, then it's the same kind of character.
Did not enjoy the video.
It's the same kind of cartoon existence. You know, it'd be the same thing, but you get about 90 minutes worth.
Well, listen, I don't want to sort of sound like a commercial station, but we'll be back in a moment, and here's Brian Ferry with Slave to Love.
And these two can play too, Molly and Dave.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. Now, David, over the last year, we've seen some pretty hot material sort of stay on the charts, and people that have become, I think, in the public's mind, superstars. And there's Tina Turner, Madonna, Cyndi Lauper, Bruce Springsteen, Lionel Richie, and of course Michael Jackson, and now yourself. I mean, how do you actually really, on a day-by-day basis, cope with the name?
Well, as far as coping with competition, specifically of the strata that you're mentioning, Molly, I look towards my Mr. T ring here that I got from the liquor store right around the corner. And it brings to mind that famous line, "I pity the man who tries to take what's mine."
Right.
That's the Mr. T attitude. I think as far as, you know, each artist, they have their plus, their drawbacks. You know, Madonna, like a virgin.
Well.
And on and on. We've all got a crack in the woodwork, and you know,
I mean,
we're gonna sneak in somewhere.
I mean, some of them are friends of yours, but I mean, you seem to sort of, and so does Madonna, and so does Cyndi, cope with it that you know you can still go into the street and sort of just meet people and be friendly with people. Others tend to sort of hide themselves away.
Well, you don't want to wind up like Elvis, die face down, poisoned by a banana split in a bathroom somewhere. That can happen to you. That's, you know, that's part of the territory. But you figure, you know, if you're going to go up on stage, you're going to stick your head above the crowd, you're going to get a lot of attention. Sometimes somebody's going to throw a rock at you. You know, you figure you buy the land, you get the Indians.
Right.
That's how you cope.
Well, listen, perhaps we'll go to I'm Talking with their new single, Lead the Way. And before we do, I just want you to show us one thing, and promise you'll show us one thing, your car downstairs. When I drove into the parking lot, I thought, what is that? So we'll have a look at I'm Talking, Lead the Way, and will you show us your car?
No problem. Hey, babies, we're hopping and bopping and popping with the best bet for the boss beat at the top of the pop smash goal. And I'm Diamond David Lee Roth saying, take the television set and place it against your body, because it's time for Molly with Humdrum.
Well, thanks, Dave. That's sure some intro, eh, Gavin?
He's great, isn't he?
Not bad. Can you do that pop or whatever it is? Oh, you can?
Yes.
Very good.
I've been working on it.
I'm sure you have. Now, listen, I'll tell you what, the big news around this country this week was that, in fact, Van Halen, or the rest of the members from Van Halen, were in fact going to kick David Lee Roth out of the group. Now, I'm sure with David, this may come as a surprise because, as he said, I can't wait to get back into the studios and do some more numbers with the boys. So I'm not saying that the rumour is not true, because I couldn't verify whether it was or whether it wasn't, but I don't think you really should believe it at the moment. Poor David, if it's true. No, he's fine.
Time to go cruising, I think, with the California kids, Molly and David.
Okay, well, thanks, Gavin. That was the top 10 for this week, and I guess it's time to say goodbye. Now, listen, I need one promise from you, that you will promise that you'll tour Australia sometime.
We're driving right there now.
Well, listen, it's good night from me, and
Good night from Diamond David Lee Roth, Australia. Whoosh!
Thanks very much for the sound effect, Gavin. Listen, I tell you what, it was a lot of fun doing that with David about 10 days ago, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Did you enjoy it, Gavin?
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I tell you what, he's a great guy, and what a car, I tell you what.